So, welcome to this week's podcast. I'm Tatiana, your host, as well as Real to my right and Reverend to my left. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a minute since we've sat down and organized our thoughts in a podcast formation, but we're liking the new table. And we're gonna love this new blooming tea in our sexy clear teapot that Ron provided because he's so good at giving gifts and is generous. And literally wanted to touch on the basis of letting go, how it's good for your mental health, and the importance of finding stillness in the storm. So a little update on me. It's been really tough in my personal life with my relationship and figuring out a new normal when you've been with the same person for so long, but it has been really good. There's been lots of different perspectives of it. Feel like I've worn every hat that you can wear on it, and it's just been really interesting to take a step back and focus on myself and enjoy the things that bring me happiness and clarity. I've been sauning a lot and focusing a lot more on my health. I've been walking more, starting the gym next week with some friends, and just been sober this month. Other than weed, like that doesn't really count, right? I don't know. But it's been nice to take a step back and have some reflection and let go. Not be so afraid to hold on to that old ideal, that old personality, that old version of me. It was great to have it, and it got me to where I am. But a lot of some of those characteristics don't serve me anymore. My friend has this version of therapy that they do, and long story short, they call it like all the voices in your head are like your family members sitting at a dinner table. And they're all the voices that say the things like, oh, you're not good enough, or oh, you need to be defensive, or oh, you have to stand up for this. And it's like, I see you, thank you, you serve me for this and this, but you no longer need to be the closest seat to me at my table. Now, you can go take a back seat, and finding the time and space to let go with love.
It reminds me of like seasons changing. You wear a parka for the whole winter, and then you get to another season in your life, and it's like, I don't need this winter jacket now. I'm going to take it off, and so it's like shedding the old ways, taking off armor because you don't need to be protected right now. You're just going to chill, relax.
And being okay with it.
Being okay with it, yeah, and not being nervous that something's going to hit you or that a snowstorm's going to hit. Because you're in the clear. It's different weather.
Well, and even if you take it off and store it and put it away, it doesn't mean that it has to be gone forever.
Exactly.
So
you have that jacket. You already weathered the storms. You're prepared for the next one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of the times, like, we speak, or I personally speak on loss and changes and grief and things like that, but don't often speak about the flip side of that, you know what I mean? Because loss, change, and grief can also come with rewards. I have talked about how, like, the loss of my dad and my brother did provide different opportunities for me in my life, and did provide opportunities for growth and change, and, like, made me step out of my comfort zone to become a better person. But I also want to talk about, like, things changing and it becoming for the better, like you mentioned, it's Sober November. I do it every year. I don't mean it as like an egotistical or braggadocious thing. I do it to remind myself that I'm in charge of my body. No substance or no
really
routine is in charge of me. I'm in charge of that, and I can like take control and maneuver that so that I can become a healthier person overall, not just physically but mentally as well. And just being grateful for the gifts that we're given from those losses sometimes, or from those changes. For instance, like, this month is always like tough for a lot of people because the season changes. It gets colder, it gets rainy. People sometimes can fall into that seasonal affective disorder. For me, it's like quite the opposite. Maybe because I'm born in the summer, but this is a season of like reflection and really like focusing and buckling down on what I need to accomplish, and setting goals, and like working on my craft and creating and making new music, getting things released properly because I'm not as busy as I normally am every other month of the year.
Yeah.
And as well, just being grateful for the gifts that I'm receiving and allowing to come into play. You know, like I recently just got myself a new car. I feel it was kind of like a reward to myself for like, you know, the tough couple of things that I've gone through in the last couple of years, but also like being where I am and just realizing that like I earned it. You know, I earned the right to be able to like say I got myself a new car, or like I got this really nice watch as a gift from someone, because um, just like with those losses and grief comes sometimes reward and gifts and things like that that just kind of come to you when you're open to receiving them. And I think that even like I've talked about this before, like the loss of like when you're growing up, right? Like when you go from a little kid to a toddler, from a toddler to a teenager, you're losing that innocence. As you go from a teenager to an adult, you think you're gaining, oh, I can go to the club and I can do all this cool stuff. But actually, you're gaining the responsibility of having to pay your own bills and be out on your own and drive a car.
Come home safe.
I'm home safe. So it's like those gifts that you receive from those losses are things that you have to look at too, because we can spend too much time looking at the loss and just dwelling in that and just living in that. But if we take a flip side look at it and be like, well, I did kind of lose, you know, the freedom of not having to have any responsibilities, but now I can make my own rules. Now I can drive my own car. Now I can like do things that I need to do that are beyond that. And even like losing a friend or losing a pet or losing, like I have a lot of friends that have lost pets over this last couple weeks, right? And it's like they experienced a great deal of loss, and then even one of them was like, I'm super sad that I lost my pet, and now I have to think about the fact that I can go on vacation and not have to have a pet sitter.
Right.
And it was like, wow, you were able to like look at that negative situation and sadness and get through that and deal with it, and yeah, don't ignore it, but also like try and find some sort of positive within that, right? Because we can spend too long dwelling in the negative part of those situations and things that happen to us, when it's like if the loss of a relationship or the loss of a really close friendship can be very devastating, and yes, please process that and review it and reflect on it, but also knowing that maybe there was gifts within that you could find for yourself. Even just like the learning of why did this relationship go the way it did, or why did this friendship go the way it did, and how can I like not necessarily fix it, but like make subtle changes or make changes, like being a better communicator in order to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Or fall in love with the new version of it. I saw this quote that said, you know, I fell out of love with my wife, and then I fell in love with her again and again and again, and I shared 100 love stories with my wife instead of just one, you know, and like getting back on that horse, picking up, you know, your bootstraps and really just like diving in and saying, I'm not going to let this experience bitter me. I'm going to allow this experience to be open and receive whatever the next set of gifts, whatever they may be.
It reminds me, it all coincides with like sacrifice and give in order to receive. You have to empty the teapot out in order to fill it up with new stuff.
Right.
You know, sacrifice, give to receive. It's like you have to relinquish something in order to attain something new. And that's what we were talking about, like abstinence and stuff like that. It's like, just give it up. Give it up for a bit. That way you could like, I fell out of love with my wife, but then I fell back in love with her 100 times over again. Right. So you need that transition.
The grief.
You need the grief, the loss. You need the loss of something in order to see the bright side of it.
Well, it helps you appreciate it. When you go back to it, or if you get it back, it helps you appreciate it. Like if you find another friendship like that, it helps you appreciate it a bit more and like understand. Maybe
absence makes the heart grow fonder.
It definitely does, and it's also like the mind part of it, right? Like you go within, and you're like, okay, now what are the mistakes that I made? What are the mistakes that this other person made? How can I do my part to own what I did about it? Because I can't control what they're doing, but I can control this. I can at least like make some sort of like realization and like fix parts of it, like at least try and work on it, like do the shadow work.
Yeah, and I can't stress enough how much I have to remind myself of that lesson. So like, be kind to yourself on it. People always say you can manifest your own reality, you can create your own reality, and so for the longest time I thought that also meant like, you know, you're a projection of me in this reality, and you're a projection of me in this reality. And so I thought that meant that I could control you, and I could control you because you're a projection and in my manifested reality. But people still have free will. So you absolutely cannot control them, even if they're a projected part of your personality or your energy or your substance, because sometimes they're just a mirror, and you need to be able to see and read that mirror. And I have to come back to that lesson over and over and over again, because my ego will tell me, but you can. You can control. If you work harder, if you stir up the mud, if you make things a bigger tornado, if you create more velocity, more powerful, you can change it. But sometimes you're just absolutely not supposed to. And
exactly. I have this visual that I'm reminded of often, and I shared it with you guys before, but it's like I'm fighting this last boss, like this big high level boss, like he's a giant and I'm just a little peasant, and I'm trying to get through, and it's only when I lay down and be like, I give up. Like, I'm not going to get through this way. No amount of force I possess or my friends possess or God or anybody backing me can get through the way I'm attempting to. So I surrender. I give up. I'm not going to get through. And then as soon as I do that, the big boss is like, you may pass. And I'm like, motherfucker, all I had to do is surrender. So I have another cool example just like that. Yesterday, I took a friend's daughter and another friend, and we went to this art convention thing. And in the art convention, they wanted the kids to do a treasure, what's it called? The scavenger hunt. Yeah. Okay. You go booth to booth and you find these gnomes and you get it checked off the list, right? So we went everywhere and we were missing 2. And we were diligent. We were searching everywhere. And we're like, we covered every booth. There's no fucking 9 and 10 gnomes. They're nowhere to be found, right? And so the little girl and my friend was just like, we're done. Let's just give up and go home. We're never going to find it. We're all smart and looking, but we're not going to find it, right? And when we gave up and left, there was another room on the way out that said, more vendors here. We're like, what the So we go in there and there's like 7 more vendors, and the 2 hidden gnomes were in those vendors. Yeah. And we're like, but do you see what I'm picking? Here's like, by surrendering and just acknowledging no amount of pining and clawing and stirring up is going to help you. You give up, and then it shows you the way.
Well, it's like trying to run through quicksand, right? That's a good analogy, because when you struggle in quicksand,
more energy,
you go down faster.
Right, right.
But if you just like practice stillness, then someone could have the ability to come and help you out. Like if you're struggling, you're going under that quicksand before anyone even has a chance to see that you're in there. But if you're still,
then you stay still,
and parts of you are still sticking up, then someone could go, hey,
you give
there's someone in that quicksand, let me help them out. But if you're struggling, you're already gone before they even get there, and now they're walking past the quicksand, they don't even know you're in it.
And I hear this over and over and over again, and yet my mind is still being blown right now, because I'm just like, I cannot.
It's so hard to be still, right?
It is so...
It contradicts your methods.
Well, it must contradict the survival mode.
Right.
Right? Like, it absolutely feels...
Okay, that's so funny you say that. It contradicts the survival mode, right? Because in your survival mode, you want to do stuff and work, struggle. You want to struggle. You want to
survive, right?
You want to survive. So I recently had to do this fucking bungee jump thing, and I'm not into bungee jumping or death-defying fucking stunts for, so I was like, fine, I'm going to do it.
Hey everybody, I am very excited to tell you about what's going on for me. I'm going to be focused crazily on creating new content. I am really excited to bring you this new album. It's called Canadian Fire. I have a bunch of different artists from all over Canada, including Mercules, Hungry, Junk. We've got a whole bunch. We've got Revron on the album. You can find all of the specifics at surreal.ca. Speaking of surreal.ca, you can find all the tickets for our upcoming shows that we have going on. I am doing shows with R.A. the Rugged Man. If you don't know who that is, look him up. He did music with Biggie back in the day. Really hype, super old school New York rapper, but really dope. So make sure you guys go check out surreal.ca for the tickets to those. We have a show on the 20th of November at Lucky Bar in Victoria, the 21st of November in Alert Bay at the Cook Shack, and the 22nd of November in Nanaimo at the Queens. Shout out to my partners in those shows. We got Gavo from Manifest Marketing. We've got Brandon Anderson from Take a Load Off Entertainment. And of course, we've got Vance the Conways from Alert Bay working on those shows with me. And of course, Jay Red's putting it all together with me. So make sure you guys go to surreal.ca, check the link for the tickets, and I hope to see you guys at the show. And make sure you guys are going and watching all of my new content, liking, sharing, commenting, And also, check out the new album, Canadian Fire. I will be dropping the next single, which features Revron, called All I Know, very soon. Watch
Where
out for
can you
that.
find that?
Surreal.ca. You know where to find it.
The whole time I was at the event, I literally had to trick my brain and my body while I was there and be like, we're not doing anything. We're good. Like, we're good. And my body was like getting antsy. And my brain was like, well, what are we doing here? Like, what's going on? We're climbing these stairs. And I literally had to ignore both of those functions, my brain and my body. So when I got to the top and I was walking to the ledge, my brain was yelling, warning, warning.
Right.
My body almost wanted to grab things.
Right.
And it didn't actually take so much effort, but it took like a very mature parental part of me. The spirit already agreed to do it.
Right.
So I had to tell the brain and the body to basically shut the fuck up. I'm not listening to you. The spirit already made a decision. And the survival part of me really wanted to think about what was going on, and the body part wanted to grab onto shit.
Right.
So then I just did it. I just jumped off without considering those two major parts of the survival things
Right.
part
Yeah.
of it, right?
The majority even.
Yeah, and I found so much relief and so much peace by surrendering, by stillness, and the not struggling in the quicksand, and the sinking to the bottom. I had this Buddha statue sinking to the bottom of the water, and I found so much peace and serenity in doing that I want to do it more often.
I was just gonna ask you, are you gonna do it again then?
The thing is, like, it's terrifying, but I would do it again because it's like I attained a treasure by surrendering.
What about skydiving?
Yeah, I'd
Are
do
we gonna
skydiving.
skydive? We
I
can
would
all
do
go together.
skydiving.
It's super fun.
But I want people to like challenge themselves in that. Where it's like,
well, how though? Like as you're speaking, I'm like, how do we compartmentalize the survival mode?
well, we just gave good examples.
But how do you do it when you're in the moment? Like not everybody might be
You gotta
able
consciously do it.
you have to be observant of it.
Well, yeah, you have to mindfully do it too. You can't just like hope that it's gonna take on autopilot. You actually have to think, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. Is I'm gonna shut this off.
Yeah.
Like I have to flick these switches, otherwise it's not going to shut itself off.
It's like a parent sticking to their guns.
we get into fight or flight mode,
Yeah.
and our body will automatically do what we need it
Like
to
a
do.
kid
How do
pulling
you
a temper
notice
tantrum.
that that's what your body's doing, right? Because sometimes it's so autopilot
But
that
you already
don't
know.
even realize.
You know
that.
your
Oh,
kid's
but
gonna have
maybe
a
I
temper
know,
tantrum.
but maybe they don't know.
Yeah, your kid. You know your kid's gonna have a temper tantrum if you put him in a certain situation. You know your body's gonna want to grab onto shit if you're on a cliff. So it's like just
Those
just
are clues.
preemptively, yeah.
Don't jump off any cliffs, guys.
So it's just like
Unless you have a
when you're
bungee
getting
cord,
up to
parachute.
the bungee jump cliff, or when you're trying to practice the stillness.
Right.
It reminds me of when my kids were babies and they were crying in the middle of the night, and they could sense my frustration. I'd be walking back and forth all through the night, like, oh, please go to sleep. And it was only until I realized that they could pick up on that.
Right.
So all I started doing was like, I could do this all night. I love you, whatever. We're walking.
So anxiety is a clue.
Yeah, anxiety is a clue.
Heart rate is a
totally.
clue.
Yeah.
Feeling of resistance
Yeah.
is a clue.
You already made your decision. Ignore all those things.
Right?
Ignore all those things.
Well, I wanna cement them. Like as soon as I start to see
You
myself.
can't cement them. That's the controlling part.
Fuck.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
control.
That's the
Totally.
control part.
Yeah.
So
You can't cement them. They
Yeah.
have to be fluid.
no.
Yeah, they have to be fluid.
Yeah, you have to be able to go with it. I
You
know.
can't have
yeah.
structured surrender.
No.
But you can't structure it when you're surfing. You
No.
can't structure a wave coming at you.
Ooh,
And that's
okay,
the
okay.
You can
feminine
structure
energy
the
that we're talking
approach. You can structure the approach, but
Yeah.
it's unpredictable, and you got to take. It's like fear going on stage. It used to be a little bit like, oh no, like, but now it's like you ride the wave.
Yeah.
You ride the wave. You turn that scared energy into. You harness it.
Super Saiyan it.
The
Yeah,
power.
I talk to people about that all the time. People are like, "Do you get anxious before you go on stage?" I said every single time,
Right.
but I love it
Mhm.
Right.
because, like,
'Cause you know
I'm
how
running
transformative
around like a
now.
chicken with my head cut off, and at shows, people rarely get a moment with me because I'm not sitting still.
Right.
I move everywhere. So I try and say hi to people. I sit down for a few minutes, then I move, then I go over here, over here, over here, and people are like, "Man, it's really hard to hang out with you at a show." Like at the show, I didn't really get to see you, and it's like, yeah, but that's the energy that I need because I'm harnessing it.
Yeah.
So that when I get on stage, it's like a kamehameha. It's just like it turns into this giant fireball of like stage presence. That's why like people even say like you're two different people when you're off stage and when you're on
Right.
stage, because once I get that mic, it's over with. Like no one can. I feel bad for the people that have to come after me because it's like And that's not even a brag. That's
No, I've
just
seen it.
just confidence because
You
I
said
know that like I put 150 to 200% into my stage performance at all times. But it comes from that anxiety too. Like if I if I
thank
just felt
goodness
super
for it.
relaxed
Well,
and
that's why we don't
calm,
wanna control
I'd
it.
probably go on the stage and be super relaxed and calm.
Yeah.
But because I'm anxious and I'm storing that energy and I'm collecting it into this Tesla coil
Right.
of insanity,
Right.
then when I get on stage, I can release all that. And that's why when I get off stage, quite often you'll see me like go straight for the exit
Right.
because I need air, I need space, I need like because I've expended actually almost way too much energy
Right.
to where like I have a bit of a headache when I come off stage and I'm like, what just happened? Like and it
Flow state.
Yeah, flow state. And even though my sets are like an hour, it feels like 5 minutes
Right.
because
That's wild.
I'm storing that energy. And but going back to what Ron was talking about is like with our protective things that have been in place for years and have always shielded us from our traumas and the things that we've gone through. It's like I have been traditionally a runner. Like if I don't like a situation or if I feel like I don't run away from a fight, I don't run away from like I'm confrontational when I need to be.
Right.
Like if someone's like talking down or abusing a woman, I will stand up anytime. But if I feel like I'm gonna get into a confrontation with someone like in a relationship setting or a conversation that feels uncomfortable to me or like I'll just like leave because of my past trauma of seeing violence and seeing like damage being done to each other and seeing like really harsh things being said to each other that you can't take back in a certain sense.
Right.
So I'll just avoid that altogether by just being like, I'm leaving. I'll go. Like,
But you made some valid points when we were talking about this on our road trip, and you were like, you're afraid of. We were talking about. I was sharing with my family growing up. They would fight about everything. They'd get into those nitty gritty conversations where you're talking about where you could just swerve out of it and be like, no. And the reason was because you said. People hold on to those things like boot knives.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we just were transparent completely about things, and now you're going to bring this up later on and use it against me.
Yeah.
Right.
And we were just mulling over it and talking about how like it takes that though. It takes risking that, knowing that, and then knowing that not everybody's going to do it. And the fear part is like, yeah, I have a boot knife. And yeah, you have a boot knife, but we're not going to pull it on each other. And we could.
Trust.
And we could.
That's building trust.
Right, and that's the only way to build trust.
Right.
That's how you build
You
trust.
both have to be equal. You both have to have a boot
Yeah,
knife.
and you both have to know about the boot knife.
Yeah.
And be okay with it.
Yes.
And then, you know.
So what
like,
do you think your trauma response is? You said yours
Well,
was
I just want to like just finish that thought is like touching on that. It's like it feels like I don't want to have a situation where like we can bring stuff up later that was said in anger. Because that kind of stuff isn't really sometimes meant at all.
No.
It's like I would have never said that if
Totally,
we weren't in
totally,
that
yeah,
confrontation, right?
Yeah.
Like me and you have even said things to each
Yeah.
other that we didn't really mean in
Yeah.
the moment, but like later, it's like. But then I held on to that for a long time, and I was like, "Fuck that! I'm never going back to that because that person said something that was way over the line."
Right.
And
But those things need to be said so that we can understand we both can say dumb shit that we don't mean.
Yeah.
And we both have learned from it.
And I guess you can choose to take it or leave it, right? You can choose to be like, you know what, I want to go back into that situation and address this, or you could be like, no, that was too much. There's no going back.
Yeah.
So for me, it's always been never going back. And I've told you this before, I don't go backwards. And to my detriment, like I could have repaired some friendships or relationships probably just by going backwards a little bit and having those conversations. But most of the time, I'm just like, all right, you said that, bye.
Right.
Like I'm not dealing with it. I don't want to get into this because I know that it could lead to a physical fight.
Yeah.
You know, and I watched, like I said, my parents nearly kill each other every day when I was a kid. So it's just like I don't want it to get to that level. Or like when people back you into a corner and they're like, no, you're not leaving. You're dealing with this and pushing you and being like, it makes me be like, like I don't ever want to push back or like raise a hand in anger. Like I don't, it's just, I used to be a confrontational, angry, fighty person and I'm not that person anymore. So for me, I've always chosen to just dip the fuck out.
Right.
And like now I'm starting to realize that that's not always the healthiest way. So I'm working on that.
Yeah. And it's not one extreme or the other. It's the goal isn't to have the backed into a corner fist fight thing. It's actually to just gauge it and watch it fluctuate and mature and find a more mature route to resolve it. And then once you do that, it's like a light bulb goes off and you're like, oh, like I can really engage and get to the bottom of this shit, but that doesn't mean I have to get angry and fight. And it also means that I don't have to swerve and dip out. It means I can find some resolution in there. Yeah, I can find the resolution, but it will take uncomfortableness it will take effort, and it might take pain and suffering and like animosity and emotional roller coaster, but you gotta fucking just put your arms up and be like, okay, till the end of the ride, and then you're like, we did it. We came out the other end.
And then it builds scar tissue, which eventually makes you stronger.
It does.
Yeah.
I had a tiny realization in this moment as well. So, talking about the trauma responses, we mentioned flee. Mine, I always used to say mine was fix, and I would say it like, almost like as, you know, like a superior. Oh, I like to fix, I like to deal with it, I like to not just let it go and move on. But now I'm realizing that even fix, it prevents stillness. It prevents people. It's control, and therefore then is not allowing the situation to unfold as it would, or even allow other people to show up how they need to show up, or leave if they need to leave. And
this moment brought to you by Epiphany.
So even fix as a trauma response is not helpful.
No.
So
there's a middle ground.
Well, it must be the combination of all.
It is. It's the combination of all.
It must be the combination of all.
Yeah, the balance, of course.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense.
What is your typical?
Mine is to, I don't put it as nice like fix.
Okay.
Mine is to like just
Sit with it.
No, to like go address it constantly address it. But like you just said, that makes so much sense. It's another kind of control thing,
Right.
and it doesn't allow people to sit with it. So
That's right.
the way to figure it out is it's like a push pull thing. You know, it's like address it. I want to approach it, and you know, inject and be like, let's talk about this, like
Right.
this, but then also gauge their push and pull,
Right.
so that I'm not imposing too much.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's how I do it. I find I kind of feel them out, but I make sure that I'm like poking and pressing,
Right.
because I want them to feel it. I want them to
know that you're
I want
there.
them to feel the rawness and the blade, and
Right.
and I want them to do it back to me too, because
Right.
I want to resolve
Right.
it. I want them to feel like they're
I
hurt.
want a good old knife fight.
Yeah, in a way.
It's kinda how I feel
I'm not to
about
the
it,
death.
too.
You
Yeah.
know, it's like.
Well, I'm curious, you guys that are watching this podcast, I want you guys to leave in the comments some of the things that you are struggling with in that regard. You know what I mean? What are some of your automatic go-tos when it comes to dealing with those kind of confrontations, your past traumas? What are your shields that you put up? What are the masks that you wear that help you get through that situation and have traditionally worked for you and kept you safe all these years, but have also actually stunted growth?
Yeah.
Right,
Are you
to be
noticing
honest.
the shift?
Yeah.
Are you noticing the shift?
Well, and it's yeah, I've just had to realize that a lot of those things have stunted my growth as a person and made it so that I'm not the most communicative when it comes to dealing with
It's funny
those.
when
now
we
I
pride
just realized
ourselves.
that I've been stunted as a person.
Right.
Well, it's
It's so funny because when we pride ourselves on like, I'm a good communicator,
Yeah.
but then you discover
No, I
like, oh
just realized
shit,
that
I'm
for
actually
sure.
not as good as
yeah,
a communicator.
I'm good at talking.
Right.
Doesn't mean I'm good at communicating.
Right.
Right? I'm good at hearing the sound of my own voice, but does that mean I'm actually resolving any of these things through good quality communication,
Still,
boundary
that's
setting,
Yeah.
sitting in stillness right now?
Right.
Still at square one.
Hey, that's okay. The object is to get to square two. And if you have to go back to square one to get back to square two, then that's so be it. And maybe one day you'll be on square three. So
One of my favorite
Square three,
sayings
baby.
that I think we could finish off with right
Square
now
three's the place
is
to be.
all I know is that I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's that true letting go, that surrender
That's
piece,
right.
that stillness piece is because you never know.
yeah, you're welcome. Me and Ron have taught you that. No, I'm just kidding.
You never know, and it's a relief.
And you're not
It's
supposed to know.
Burden
No,
free.
exactly.
It's burden free. If you knew everything, it would be like pointless, and you'd be
Overwhelming.
burdened constantly with
Yeah.
having to plan and maneuver.
Well,
So-
where's the headroom for growth if you think you know everything?
That's
Yeah.
true too.
Right? And someone said, was it Confucius? I don't know. They said like the person who is the wisest knows that they know very little.
Right.
King
You know?
of
Yeah.
every man who knows a thing knows he knows
Nothing at all,
damn
yeah.
thing at all.
Yeah, so basically we could always be learning, we could always be growing,
Lots.
we could always become better versions of ourselves. And I hope that by watching this podcast that you guys get a little tidbit of something or something sparks something within yourself to help you do that self-reflect and shadow work, because I know this hanging out with these two beautiful humans as well as my son, as well as our team, really helps us grow as people. And every time we do a podcast like this, I get a little light bulb that goes
Right.
on. One maybe burnt out on this side, but
Like a Christmas tree.
like one of those Christmas tree lights. This one over here is burnt out.
Shit, I fix this one. This one's burnt
Yeah,
out.
right. But now this one lights up, and
Yeah.
it lights up a different part of your brain, and hopefully we can do that for you guys by watching this podcast. So make sure you guys keep tuning in, subscribe, hit that subscribe button, make sure you comment, like, share, whatever you want to do, and go check out our past episodes as well while you're on this page. And we want to just thank everyone for tuning into the TPOT podcast.
Love you guys, and more soon. So, fun update on me. I've created a new company called Ash and Riot Gatherings and Apothecaries, and good healing tactics for your body, and now we get to blend them in saunas. It's happening on Thursdays from now until December 13th, but we're also going to be doing lots of other fun wellness-bound events. If you want more information, just send me a
Slide up in our DMs.
Sweat up in my DMs.
Sweat up in your DMs.
So we're excited to tell you guys about the new trajectory of the podcast, TPOT podcast. We're hoping to induce some guests into the mix.
And more episodes.
More episodes. And then we're going to have the link to those guests, the application for it. We're going to put that in the bottom of this.
I just want to take a quick moment to thank all of our sponsors that help support us financially for this podcast and keep this podcast running. First of all, we have Sarah Sunshine, we have Miss Edie, we have Gina's Mexican Restaurant, we have Flow Septic, we have Fun Time Photo Factory, Firehouse Grill, and of course Next Level Audio. So thank you very much to those people that help keep us going. If you do want to find out how you can sponsor our podcast, please shoot us a message and you can get involved with helping us out.
Don't leave that on the shore. They say, let me get that money. Forget the money. Forget the power. Forget the power.